Just because you've had a stroke doesn't mean that your life is over. It just might mean that you have to do things a little differently. And while I haven't had a stroke myself, I have worked with many stroke survivors who live very happy and fulfilling lives. So today, I'm going to walk you through some strategies so that you can live your best life after a stroke. I recently asked in a community post for you all to share with me what helps you live your best life after stroke. And so many of you said, believing in myself, having faith in myself. And I think that this is absolutely huge. Having that positive but realistic mindset about recovery can help give you a better sense of control. Realizing that you don't have to rely on other people, but that it's within your power to push forward and make progress. Now, this one I know is easier said than done, but I was surprised at how many of you mentioned this strategy in my community post, which is to take care of your body. Eating well and moving more are the two simplest but also hardest habits to create. And eating well, if you're confused about where to start, you can check out this video I made on 3 dietary approaches for stroke prevention. It can give you a starting point. And as far as moving more, don't beat yourself up too much. You don't necessarily have to go out and run a marathon. You can start with a gentle stretching routine, 10 minutes of yoga, or keep it really simple and just try standing once every hour. Talking and communicating with others about how you're doing and how you're feeling can be incredibly helpful to your recovery process and living your best life after stroke. I know that this can be complicated for several reasons. If you had trouble expressing your feelings and your emotions before your stroke, it might still be difficult after your stroke. But opening up and letting people know what things that you're dealing with and asking them to be patient with you can be really helpful for your mental health. For example, I know a lot of stroke survivors experience neurofatigue, which might mean that you feel like you're walking through jello. You experience brain fog and really severe bodily exhaustion. But sharing something like my video about spoon theory and neurofatigue with others can help you advocate for yourself and let others in and help them understand what you're experiencing. Now, if you have aphasia, this can become more complicated as well. But you can try using something like a communication board with different emotions and moods that you can point to help share how you're feeling with others. Another strategy is continue doing things that you enjoy. And while you may not be able to do things in exactly the same way as you did before your stroke, you can modify and adapt things so that you can still do things that you like. For example, if you're a musician, but maybe one of your arms isn't working so well now, try one-handed instruments. Get a hand drum, a triangle, plunk around on a keyboard or a piano with one hand, or maybe get some software like GarageBand to create digital music. Just because you can't use both hands together doesn't mean that you can't still create music. And if you didn't know, our brains actually really like when we do things that are important to us. It's one of the principles of neuroplasticity. And if that phrase is new to you, you can check out my video on how to change your brain after stroke. This strategy likely won't surprise you, but working hard in your rehab can really help you to live your best life after a stroke. We know that too many survivors don't get the opportunity to take part in formal therapy services. But I'd venture to guess that if you're here watching this channel, you know that you don't necessarily need those formal therapy services to make progress. You can do a lot on your own, but it does take putting in the hard work repetitively and consistently every day to really make that progress happen. Working hard in your rehab sounds good in theory, but how do you do it if you don't have help? Well, this next strategy addresses that. How do we find resources? Now, we have a lot of viewers from around the world, so look in with your specific governmental bodies. What type of financial, medical, or health-related assistance do they offer? Look to local charities for free services. You might be surprised with what you can find. Look on social media and YouTube for recovery videos. More and more therapists are getting out of traditional healthcare systems to try and reach more people with the education that they have. You can also look for local occupational therapy and physical therapy schools. They often have student-run clinics where you can get care for free and the students get hands-on experience. Also look for research studies to take part in. Researchers are often looking for actual stroke survivors to test and trial new techniques and interventions. Now, this last resource can be hard to find, but if you can get connected with a good neurologist, your recovery and life after stroke will be better for it. Building a strong support system is one of the best things you can do to thrive after a stroke. If you have close friends or family that you can rely on to help you, that's a great place to start. And it can often start with asking for a little help, although I know that that's very hard to do. But if you don't have close friends or family, you can look for local or online stroke survivor support groups. Due to the pandemic over the past 2 years, many Zoom support groups have cropped up all over the place, and you can meet with survivors from all around the world. And I'll be honest with you, I'd encourage you to reach out to a stroke survivor support group. No one is going to understand what you have been through and what you are going through like other survivors. And the last strategy, but most certainly not least, is to be kind to yourself. Stroke recovery is hard. Trying to be patient with your brain and your body as you recover is overwhelming. Dealing with unsupportive or unhelpful people in your recovery process is frustrating to say the least. And experiencing mental health issues like anxiety and depression does not make you weak, it makes you human. So if you need to take some time out for yourself, you're not being lazy. Practicing self-love and self-compassion is one of the most healing things that you can do for yourself in this journey. And know that you are capable of making progress. There are so many resources available to you. Look at the rest of this channel if you're looking for a starting point. You can do this. All right, everyone, that's it for today. Leave me a comment down below and let me know what are some things that you do to live your best life after a stroke. And as always, I'm leaving a link down in the description if you'd like to sign up for the email list, which gets you stroke recovery tips and motivational emails, as well as a copy of my free ebook, The Stroke Recovery Pocket Guide. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time.